So I was just walking around and then I go down this hole and then I was like, whoa, this place is so cool. So I was just like placing some random torches everywhere, just kind of exploring around, doing all the exploring stuff like, you do in Minecraft. Found some really cool, like, blue rocks things. Honestly, people, I actually have no idea what they're called. I think they're lettuce. Who would know? And then, I'm just flying around, see a bit of lava, see a dark tunnel, You go down there, and you're like, whoa! More funny plant stuff. And then you place another torch, and you're like, whoa, stones. And then you even go down even more holes, and you're like, whoa, more stones. And then you think you're kind of in this, like, palace dungeon sort of thing. Honestly, I literally have no clue. And then you just go down a little bit further. You're, like, in the dark, and then you're like, oh, light. And then you're kind of just, like, I'm just randomly placing torches everywhere. Because, like, I was trying to figure out what way to get back, because I was doing, like, torches, and then I placed them in some really, really random places, and I actually had no idea where I was. So then I'm just deciding, like, oh, yeah, let's just go down another dark tunnel, because, like, why not? And then I go back the other way, and I'm like, where am I? And then, like, I see a little bit of garden, and I'm like, woo! And then it's like, I don't think I've been to this bit before, there's no torches. And then I'm like, how do I get back? And I'm, like, so confused, and then I'm back, like, in this big, massive, like, hollow bit. And I'm like, what am I doing now? So I continue trying to find where I started. And then I'm like, ooh, lava. And then I'm like, just still walking back. Find some more green stuff. And then I think it's like, oh wait, that's exactly the same stuff that I found earlier. Then, just occasionally go around these places and I'm like, ooh, it's dark. And I'm like, I have no idea where I am. And then you realise you can't place a torch up there and you're like, oh. And then I'm like, can I place a white bed? And it's like, no. And then, like, I kind of just continue, like, kind of like green kind of bit. And I'm like, is that the place? And it's like, no, it's not. And then, I just pick, like, and then I kind of just vibing in the plants a bit. And then I find lava, which is literally the exact same pile that I found just before. And then I'm like, what am I gonna do now? So then I'm kind of just vibing in the lava, looking for places to go. Because I'm like, where am I? What am I doing? And then I'm just kind of, gonna continue walking around these places like, ooh. And then I place a band and I'm like, oh, it's not night. And then you think, like, when you're down in these dark caverns, it's like, is it night or is it day? And then, like, you find out that you've literally just been going around in circles and you're like, what am I doing? So then you kind of just break a few stuff. And then you're like, I am literally so confused. And then, I'm kind of just vibing around in this dark cave with, like, a few little bits of green. And then I'm like, is that the thing? And it's like, no. And then you're like, ooh, what a... And then I'm just kind of just placing more stuff, more little, like, torches, and I'm like, where am I? And then you go around in like a circle, and it's like, what am I doing? So then I decide, I'm like, oh, let's go to settings and let's switch this to survival. Because then I might actually be able to get out. And so it turns out, and when you try to die of full damage, like on purpose, and it just does not work, you're like, why is it not working? So then you're like, why? And then you do even more full damage, and then you go in this like big dark cavern, and you're like, where am I? And like and you're literally only using half a heart for this full damage. And then you decide to place a bit of fire onto the steel, and you're kind of just burning. And like you're literally only losing half a heart, and it's like, what am I doing? So eventually I start sort of dying. And then the fire goes out. And I'm like, no! And then, you just have to place more and more fire. And then I'm just continuing on burning. And then somehow eating raw robot. So that didn't work. And that was just life.